Hey guys, welcome back. So today I have a video that I actually started working on last spring. So last spring I was going to do a few favorites videos. I did a favorite turquoise video and I did my lightest lights video, and those have been posted. I will link those down below. But I also filmed my favorite darkest dark polishes just to kind of go along with that. And within those videos I filmed how I pick out my favorites, and so I have filmed that video last spring and it includes this one, and I'm finally getting to posting this one. I wanted to wait till winter. I'm a little bit late, but I'm getting it out to you now. And then after this, at some point, I will put up a video of how I pick my favorites because you guys ask me all the time how the process works. So that will come up after this. Today, we're going to talk about my favorite darkest dark polishes, and this is so fun. This video is going to be a little bit hard though because it's hard to tell just the color differences in these polishes because they are so dark. So I'm going to talk through the little nuances of the colors and describe them so you guys know the difference. So a lot of these are going to look like pretty much black on the nail, but you're going to know that they are a specific color, while others, just looking at you, might just think you're wearing black. So if you like colors like that, like I do, I love any lightest lights that there's just a hint of color, and I love any deep colors that do have that different shade base than black, but they're just so deep and dark and rich and vampy. So I love those kind of shades. I'll link down my hoodie here. I did get it on clearance at the store in Athleta a month or two ago, so it might not be available, but I will link it if it is. And then on my lips, I am wearing this CoverGirl Outlast Ultra Matte in Yay Rose, this lip gloss, and I have cherry oil on top from Dior to make it a little glossy because I'm really liking the glossy lips lately, and so that's what I have on my lips. And let's dive right into it. These are in no particular order, they're just all my favorite dark shades with a little bit of color variation. First up, you can't talk about darkest darks unless you're talking about black, so I'm going to start off with like a straight up black, and there's a lot of black polishes that I really love, but my favorite one is Essie Licorice. The thing I love about this one is that when you first get it, you're going to have to do a couple coats, but as it thickens up just a little bit, it thickens up perfectly, and then you can pretty much get away with just one coat, and it just applies really nicely. Even with that skinny brush, I just still love it. I probably should get a new bottle with the wider brush because I'm sure it's even better now, but I love their black polish. It's really inky and black and has good coverage. This one's been around a long time. I tried to research exactly when it came out. It looks like it was somewhere around 1982. I could be wrong, but it's been around for a super long time. The OPI Black, is that one Onyx? I haven't used it in a really long time, but that one's good. My favorites are Licorice though, and I really love China Glaze Liquid Leather. That one's really great too, but I haven't used that in a long time. I basically just reached for this one, but those are some really good options too. So love a good rich black polish, and I love to wear them in winter. In fact, I always pull out black in the fall or winter. Such a good classic shade. Next up is It's Top Secret, and this is from the Washington DC 2016 collection, and this is like the deepest, darkest brown that I have, and ever since it came out, it's been my favorite. I love it. It's a good balance of like cool and warm. In fact, it leans a little bit cooler, which I prefer with browns, although lately I'm really liking the warm browns, but this one is just so great. I think you can tell that this is brown on the nail. This one's a little bit lighter than some of the other ones that I'm talking about. The formula is really great on this one too. It applies so nicely in two coats. It's nice and silky. It's been around for a long time. I do think you can find it though at Beyond Polish and Amazon still. If you don't have this one, make sure you try to find it. It's such a good brown, especially if you love browns. It's been a bit since I've talked about it though lately. Such a good brown. Next up is Essie Wicked. This is a classic Essie shade that everyone talks about. I believe it was released in like 1993, and it's a burgundy with a hint of brown. So this one does lean a little more brown than some of those others. And same thing, it's just rich and inky, and it applies really nicely in two coats. I do think I like Velvet Voyage a little bit better than this one. It has a little bit more purple in it, but that one's really hard to find, but I wanted to make sure to mention it because it's probably my favorite over this one. But I wanted to pick one that was going to be easy for you guys to find, and you can't really pass up this classic Essie shade, Wicked. It's just a staple. If you are collecting polish, you have to have this one. I probably need to get a new bottle for this one. In fact, I'm kind of going through these thinking I need to update some of these, but it's a really nice one, and hopefully you can see the shade differences for these next ones that I'm going to talk about because they all lean kind of red, brown, purple, burgundy bases, but they're all a little bit different. Hopefully I'll be able to describe those color differences to you. So this is a great one. Guys, Thousand Galaxies is another one of my favorites, and this is probably one of my most favorites out of all of these. It is such a gorgeous polish. It was released in the Starlight collection from 2015, and so it's been around for a long time. I have loved it ever since it came out. It's got a really nice, rich brown base, but it has a little bit of red in it and maybe a hint of purple, and it's a little bit different than some of the other ones like Essie Wicked that lean more purple. This one weighs heavily on brown. I think it is quite unique and I love it. Definitely need this one. I don't know how hard it is to find. I will link it if it is available, but I knew I had to talk about it because it truly is one of my favorites. I feel like there's nothing like it. I need to try to find some comparisons to see if there's anything recent that has popped up, but I haven't reached to pull out this for any comparisons, so I don't think that there is. So this one's really, really great. You know, I needed to mention this next one. You can probably guess what it is. Linkin Park After Dark. It's been around for such a long time. I believe it was released in the OPI Classics in like 2005, but it must have been released before that. I'm not sure. Sometimes that information can be hard for me to find, but it's been around for a long time and it's definitely a classic, and it was just huge. I don't know if it's huge anymore. Is it, you guys? Do you guys still reach for this? I would be curious to know. I like to reach for it, but honestly I have not worn it in a couple years because I've had so many new polishes I've had to go through, but I still absolutely love it. The base of this one is a little bit more purple leaning than it is burgundy. It is so rich that it really does look black, but it does have that rich purple base to it. Great formula as well on this one. You definitely need to pick up this classic if you're collecting nail polish. Wanna Wrap is one of my favorite ones that was released from the XOXO 2017 holiday collection. This is a purple based polish, not quite as dark as Linkin Park After Dark, but I feel like the base is pretty similar. This one maybe has a little bit more red in it. So it's like a burgundy red with purple as well. Good Girls Gone Plaid and OPI Heart to Party are both pretty similar to this one, and I love them maybe a little bit more than this one, although I do love this one. And they're slightly different, but I feel like this one's easier to find, so I wanted to mention this one. But it has been around, gosh, now 8 years. That's insane. Time just flies, you guys. I can't believe this is 8 years old, but it's still one of my favorites. This one you can tell that it is a little more purple than it is black, so it's a little bit lighter than Linkin Park After Dark and Wicked as well, but it's still got that rich, nice formula. I feel like it does have just a hint of white in the formula, so it's going to show up a little more purple on the nail. Gorgeous shade. Front of House Glam is this next shade, and it was from the Sing collection in 2022 that was released in fall. This is probably the lightest of the bunch that I have. It does have a little bit of white in the base, but I had to include it because it is quickly become one of my favorite shades. It's a really smoky purple, but it also has a lot of brown and it also has gray. So it's one of those shades that you're thinking one minute it's purple, the next it's gray, and the next minute kind of brown. And the smokiness just is everything. Love this polish so much. I have worn it every year since. I do pull it out. I think you guys will like it too. Did you guys pick this one up when I talked about it? I hope you did, because it was one of my favorites from the collection. And I feel like Morgan Taylor has just been killing it with their collections lately. The formula is really fantastic, as with Morgan Taylor. And the brush and just the whole combination just makes it so fun to apply this polish. Definitely my top 5 for Morgan Taylor. Also, somebody mentioned I should do a top 5 of all the brands and do a recent one, and I think I will. That's going to be kind of tricky, but I think that sounds kind of fun to do top 5 or maybe even top 10, we'll see, for each brand. So just adding more work to my list. Holidays Over You. You guys, this is such a great polish. I feel like when this came out, there was really nothing like it. It's also from the XOXO Holiday 2017 collection, or Kisses Hugs collection. But it is like the deepest navy that you could ever have. And I do feel like, yeah, it does have a little bit of purple in it too. And I think that's why I like it a lot. But really, it is just so inky and dark and moody. Gets you totally in the mood for fall. I always think of this when we start to get a little moodier outside. Such a fantastic shade, like the darkest navy blue that you can get. Definitely need to find this one. Hopefully you can. Like I mentioned before, I'll try to link all the polishes down below, but such a great one. Definitely one of my favorites too. Obviously, these are all my favorites. From the Shake Up the Magic Holiday 2020 collection is Fa La Love This Color. And this one's a little bit lighter too, but I wanted to include it because it is the darkest gray that I have. I feel like we need to have one come out that's a little bit darker than this one because this one does have a little bit of white in the base and you're really going to be able to tell that it's a dark gray when you're wearing it. But it's one of my favorite dark grays. And you know, D&D probably has one. I need to kind of look into that. I bet they have one that's a little bit darker than this one. But the formula is fantastic, the brush is fantastic, the smokiness, everything that I love in a polish, especially for fall and winter, is this one, and it is so good. Don't know what else to say except that you need it. You need it in your life. This last one is one of my favorites. Can you guess what it is? Can you guess what it is? I think this is my number one. Yeah, I've saved this for last. This is my number one favorite, deepest, darkest polish, and this is Stylenomics. You guys probably know that. I love, love, love this polish. This was released in 2012. I think I picked it up probably 2013 or 2014 when I really started getting into nail polish. It is just the best. It's the deepest, darkest green, and it's a cool toned green. It's not a warm toned green, and that's what I love about it. It's got a little gray in it too, and it is just like a hint smoky. It is so good, perfect for Christmas. I think you can tell in the light that it's green, but it's so dark that otherwise you're probably gonna think it's just a dark gray or maybe a dark black, but I know that it's a dark green and I love that it's a dark green because green is my favorite color, and this is my number one. I'm glad I saved this one for last. You definitely need this, especially if you're a collector, because it is an Essie classic, such a fantastic shade, my number one. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Sometimes these favorites videos I can be a little repetitive because I love all the polishes because they are my favorites, and so I'm going to tell you that you need them and they're great and they're fantastic, and hopefully just me describing the colors to you was super helpful. So I have a lot of pictures and it's really hard to tell. Maybe I'll put a picture up here that's a collage of all of them together so you can kind of see and maybe see the slight differences. I didn't take the time to do comparisons on my nails, but I feel like these are so dark that it's really hard to just see that difference in a picture, and you just need me to describe it to you. So hopefully that was helpful. Did you guys enjoy that video? Let me know your favorite deepest dark polishes, and we will see you in my next review. Bye guys.